it's late here because once again we just can't have a stream without problems.
Woohoo!
Um, I updated my
Yay, technical
drivers
difficulties.
to try and fix one problem, and now all my audio shit for the stream is kind of fucked up. So that means no music for the live stream, unfortunately.
Rip.
Um, what a wonderful day. But
We're off to a
anyway,
great start.
yeah, oh my god. Such a great start. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, so welcome back for another Storytime Chit-Chat. Time again. Time again. Welcome to another Storytime Chit-Chat. It is the seventh Chit-Chat. So, this time we're discussing chapters 19 and 20 of When Souls Awaken. And then after that, we'll do a little bit of questions that my Patreon and founding supporters submitted. And any questions that pop up in the chat will be, I'll try my best to flounder to an answer that doesn't spoil everything, such as, who's what, where, when, why, whatever. But anyway, be sure to follow on all the social media, blah blah blah. You know what's up at this point. If you're new, just click the thingy that says go to all my links. And I didn't fix the picture because I just realized that the picture for the schedule is all fucked up on my Twitch. But if you click the picture, I now have it linked so it goes to my post on my Patreon about the schedule, so you'll be able to see the full picture without issue. Anyways,
Woohoo!
once again, my wonderful co-host, as always, is the wonderful HippieGhost.
Hello.
And after the Q&A section, for my content, we'll be moving on into his content because
Thank you very much.
his is wonderful as well. He also has a Patreon, and you can find his links on my Twitch as well. I have both our link trees set up on my account for us. Both our
Thank you
stories are
kindly.
free to read at Tapas. Our Patreon subscribers get it in advance. So, without further ado, as you know, I sit here and try not to think about all the mistakes so far. Um, let's move on to you know the actual storytime chit chat.
All right.
Anyways, so as you know, as my little
Look, it's me.
yeah, it's you. As my little cycle goes around up in that corner over there, you will see that I added the thumbnails for the newer chapters, such because before it only had chapters 1 through 19, but now it has chapters 1 through 23. You can read chapter 23 on my Patreon now to see what happened after 22 because 21 and 22 were heavy. There is so much shit she has to work through, and I
Oh, yeah.
can't wait for that story time chit chat. But this one is before the shit hits the fan. So if
Mm-hmm. It's just kind of flying through the air right now.
no, no,
People
no,
don't
no, right
even
now
know
it's
what's going
starting
on.
to pile up, and someone is about to plug the fan in.
Yeah, it's like the monkey is holding it, but nobody knows that the monkey is even there.
Am I the monkey?
Would you like to be the monkey?
I don't really want to throw shit. My
That's
skin's
fair.
already horrible enough without having to wash it like 10 million times more. Anyway, so
Okay.
here we go into chapter
We're off to a great
19. Or
start.
should I take a moment to, further humiliate myself and bother people?
Uh, what do you mean?
I don't know.
You're not bothering anybody. You're good.
Well, that's good. Okay, so in chapter 19, we have the title Stoking the Flames. And if you're wondering why my avatar is not looking up, it's because I am trying to send a text message and talk at the same time, which apparently I can't do. So,
All right, so
okay,
since
there we go.
yep,
Sorry, I had to message, Gas, because he said to message him when we were doing this, so that way, But,
makes sense.
and I forgot to send a message, like, ahead of time, as
Hmm?
though, I have, like, some, whatever. You know what, fuck it. Fuck my, everything, and let's just go. Okay, so
You
appearing
got this.
characters in Chapter 19 include Alora, Flora, Axis Rune, and Viserys. And God
Ooh.
chat, there is no one. But yes, you heard me right.
Oh my.
Viserys is in the appearing characters list, but not the God chat.
Oh.
Curious. Curiouser and curiouser might be the thing if this chapter hadn't been out for like over a week now. But anyways,
Fair.
so for some reason God chat is quiet and that is almost terrifying, honestly, if you ask me, because, nothing's ever good when the gods are silent. Um and it's really bad when they're loud. But so
Yeah. You
anyway,
generally want them just kind of gossiping,
yeah,
because that means
yeah.
they're just bored enough,
Hopefully not so
but
bored
not
they
like.
start a new era again. Because this era is
Yeah.
getting a little out of control now.
Yeah, this era kind of sucks
So okay,
for everyone but us and people with
so
feelings.
I am sorry to my readers' feelings. By the way, I'm going to hurt them more and in worse ways. This is just the
Isn't that
start.
lovely?
So the little group has been together for about a week now. Laura, Flora, Axis, and Rune. And during this time, Axis has rediscovered his passion for cooking, and he's teaching the girls how to how to cook as well. Flora's been testing his patience as if he had any to begin with, because she's just a little shit trying to figure out what she can get away with.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, she's a jealous little shit. And we learn, as if it wasn't obvious, that
Yeah.
Axis does not have quiet emotions. They scream on his
Oh.
face, along with his brooding. Also, it is.
It kind of reminds me of how, like, your face doesn't have an inside voice.
Thank you! Also, it is revealed that Flora loves running into dark places. And apparently, Al hates them. You can find out a bit about her trauma with caves in chapter 22 if you're ready to get your feelings hurt. A light, which is called A Light in the Dark, and is currently available on Tapas and Wattpad for free. So in the cave, as Alora and Axis search for Flora, we see that Alora really hates it. And Axis is there for her as much as an emotionally, physically traumatized teen with daddy issues can be. Axis is concerned for Alora, but he doesn't really know how to convey soft emotions, so he cares for her kind of silently, by lighting, the path that they're taking with his little fire magic and stuff, and he takes her by the hand to, help guide her through the cave after she almost tripped and fell on her face because, Rune warned her. The sloth did squeak, but she was just like, oh my god. And she just, luckily, Axis kept her from face planting, though. So that's nice. But,
That is nice of him.
right? Real Prince Charming, that one. So, deeper in the cave, they find Flora and a really cool natural pool of like really crystal clear water. This little scene, honestly, I just wanted to write it because of the one time I went to the Luray Caverns in Virginia. Sometimes that water is just so clear down in those caves, and it's just so amazing.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like breathtaking, man.
That sounds very beautiful.
Right? I don't
I'm
get
kind of
out much.
envious now.
I don't get
What'd you
out
say?
much, and I don't get out much before COVID, during COVID. I just don't get out much. But sometimes people take me for a walk when they think I've been in the house for too long, or drive.
Yeah.
I think my family thinks I'm a dog at this point.
You want to go for a walk because you were a good girl?
You know, I shit you not, that's
I am
pretty
trying.
close to what they've said to me before.
You have no idea how hard it is not to make a loose joke right now.
Oh my god. Anyways, so at this point, Alora and Flora are in awe of the natural beauty until Flora realizes that, Axis is holding Alora's hand. And, well, jealousy consumes
Uh-oh.
the light. In other words, Usko go make fire go dark. And, oh no!
Ba-dum-bum.
Alora hates caves, so she's now clinging to Axis for dear life. And so, he flickers with flames because he's all flustered, and you know how he is without much control of sometimes of his flames, and now he's got this girl hugging him out of nowhere. But so he reignites his little ball of fire, and he's just kind of awkwardly holding his hands up while he clings to her. Like, he's not touching Alora because he doesn't know how or what the fuck is going on right now. And Flora is uber sad because her jealousy literally drove Alora into Axis. I'd say his arms, like in his arms, but he's just kind of holding them up Like someone once told him that's what people do when they make a goal, but he has no idea what the goal is, and he doesn't want to get too hot and bothered and burn the poor girl that is,
Mm-hmm.
terrified. But
Yeah, that would probably be a pretty bad thing to do.
mhm. So at this point,
It would not be very cash money of him.
so at this point, um, we see a reversal in roles here. Instead of Axis being the one brooding, Flora is for all of like 2 seconds. But yeah, Flora is brooding. Axis is confused, and Alora is just pissed off that she's dealing with the bullshit of these children. And she drags them both out of the cave as quickly as she possibly can because fuck that shit. She's out and back, and it's back to traveling for the three plus Ren,
Yay.
who always tries to chime in with a squeak whenever he can. He actually has dialogue written in the story. Fun fact, it was like when I first started writing Rune's lines, I think it was like 1 a.m. I was sitting on the couch and my brother came out and he gave me the weirdest look because all he hears is squeaking from my computer because I was on my 20th video of sloths making noises trying to figure out how I was going to write their sound. And yeah. Yeah, so that was an interesting little like 1 a.m.
What noise does a
conversation.
sloth make, Amanda?
You can do it. That was beautiful. Okay, so they set
Thank
up
you, I
camp.
am.
Yes, you are. They set up camp with Axis doing the cooking, and everything is relatively uneventful until morning when Alora starts sneaking out to go hunting, and Axis is like, "Surprise, bitch, take me with you." Well, I mean, not really, but he does ask to join her, and Alora challenges him to stay quiet and whatnot while they're hunting. So it becomes almost like a playful competition between the two, at least in energy speaking. It's not like they're not like trying to see who kills the most because that goes against Alora's philosophies. But anyways, so the two find a deer and Alora misses her shot because let's face it, she's 12, she's not a marksman. She's doing her best out there, but she has not been properly trained. She is self-taught and
Mm-hmm.
she's been at this kind of living for about a year. Um so the deer gets spooked, but Axis traps it in fire. He's had a lot of practice with his fire. He can make walls of it and stuff. So, but then he just like kind of yoinks one of Alora's arrows and jams it into the poor thing and leaves it in agony instead of like killing it because he wasn't careful. He was just like, whatever, it got the job done. It'll be dead in a minute. And Alora is pissed off over this, so
Hmm.
mad. So she rushes in to finish off the deer and then proceeds to yell at Axis for several reasons. One being he terrorized the deer unnecessarily. She would have rather
Mm-hmm.
tracked it down again or found some other game. Two, he did not kill it cleanly. He just, you know, let it sit there in agony. So she was like real quick to just off it as soon as she could. And then three, one of the one that's actually, a pretty big issue in a lot of cases throughout the world too, is he's wearing a symbol and ignoring what it means with the actions he's committed.
I
He's
like the I like that little callback to real world.
mm-hmm. He is violating a sacred symbol, so to speak, because he is wearing an amulet of Viserys, and that means he's supposed to respect life. He's never worshipped Viserys. His mother worshipped Viserys, and he just sees it as a momentum from his mother. But Alora is like, you are wearing something that means something, and you're not even trying to hide it while you commit the opposite of what it means.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, of course Axis doesn't take this well. He gets pissed off and storms off because it's Axis. So he leaves Al to tend to the bounty alone, and it's during this time that Viserys appears to her. Ta-da! The god shows up. And he blesses her bow, saying time and time again, "You have respected my ways." This is the second time he has physically appeared to our little Alora, but it's the first time she was conscious for it. If you remember, Viserys saved her life from a pretty high fever in chapter 3, An Unimpressive Friend. She was hallucinating and everything, if you remember, you can recall that and whatnot. Anywho, after blessing her bow, he tells her, a tool to aid you in the treacherous path you walk. Light and darkness encircles you while more take interest. Be careful. Here he's referring to Noxra and Larsolus at this point, and he is hinting at the fact that having the gods' attention isn't the best thing. It can be pretty dangerous. I mean, it's a treacherous path, and you'll
Oh
see
yeah.
that this is gonna hold true, little true. Hopefully, hopefully
Kind of
she.
reminds me of that one concept of like looking into like the occult and dark powers and stuff. The
Mm-hmm.
whole the more you look into the void, the more it stares back sort of thing. Kind of reminds me of that.
Exactly. Well, not really, because she hasn't looked into it so much. I mean, she
Well,
does
no,
respect it,
I'm not
but
saying
no,
it's
no,
the
no, no.
same.
I
It's
get, I
just
get you.
yeah.
You good? But so uh, speaking of danger, Axis rushes back because he's terrified for Alora's well-being. Because when Viserys speaks, what actually occurs in the world for people to hear, um, is what's known as the Song of Viserys. So only those who are worthy of Viserys' word, those who who are not cruel, murderous, or basically giant assholes, will hear his words as though they're like a beautiful melody. It's nice, like a little cacophony of birds, and you understand it. You know what it's trying to say, and all that jazz. However, those who are not worthy will hear horrific screaming and the like, and it will shake them to their very core. This is an extremely important note on Axis's character because it's setting up the fact that Axis, even though when he's terrified, he won't hesitate to run towards Alora to save her from whatever is happening. The boy may be fucked up, but he is loyal and protective without a doubt. He's a good boy. He's a good dog. Bark.
Woof.
So Axis and Alora are reunited, and he checks to see if she's okay, and she gives him one final scolding after she realizes he's not going to go anywhere. She just gives him a nice little scolding to go with telling him to respect the symbol he wears. Um, and the two make their way back to the camp together, and they're with their bounty, wrapping up the chapter with Flora waking up in a good mood, Al acting like nothing happened, and Axis brooding. This might become a common theme for these three. Who knows?
Axis would fit so well as a brooder until he
He,
burned them all to death.
I was gonna say he would. He'd be right in that corner, but as soon as one tried to get in, they'd be on fire. He's especially if it was teenage Axis. Adult Axis would probably just punch him in the face or
Yeah,
tell them to
probably.
fuck off. But teen Axis is more along the lines of burn motherfucker because they're probably not going to give me a chance.
Yeah.
Okay. And that wraps up chapter 19. So, what about chapter 20? It's called Melting Hearts. Whose heart are we melting?
Mine.
Ah.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
the stream is just devolving into laughter, maniacal laughter. Watch out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's just so that way you guys have some sort of music to listen to because my shit's all fucked up. I mean, otherwise we'd be listening to the nice royalty free, no copyright fantasy music that I found for us to enjoy. But no, no, fuck us. Anyways, so the appearing characters in chapter 20 are Axis, Flora, Alora, and Rune again. And once again, no gods in the god chat. Oh, maybe someone should check on them to see if they're all right. If anyone's not afraid of being smited or getting stepped on by Noxera. If you saw
I
that
mean,
Valentine's Day card.
well, maybe I should go take care of that.
Thank you. So, anyways, welcome to chapter 20, where you guessed it, it starts out with Fireboy still brooding. He has been at it for several days at this point, and he's like 96.293% sure that Alora hates him. Um, and Alora's just sitting there trying to figure out where the fuck they're going because she can't sit still for 2 seconds, or her trauma might catch up to her. But no one is going to help her pick a place, so she just goes, "Fuck it, I'm going for a walk." And Axis, is like, "That's all we do," and she's just like, "Well, whatever." And
So, so
yes,
you're telling me that Aurora is basically doing the like high fantasy equivalent of scrolling through like 3 different apps at the same time to prevent a thought from happening.
yes, that's exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, anyway. So, um, you know, Axis then tells Flora to fuck off for some reason, and then she's like, "Oh, you potty mouth," and so they start bickering, and then Alora just leaves while they're bickering,
Mhm.
and Flora only notices this after she tries to fall back on Al for an argument, for support in the argument, but Al's not there, so.
Mhm.
Alora is off walking like a brain dead zombie while being anything but brain dead as her thoughts consume her, and she starts walking along the river until she finds a town. Holly fucking of all the times I've said that correct, tonight would be the one time that I really fuck it up. Holly fucking Julia. Julia? Julia. Ah! Don't give me J's to pronounce. Don't give me weird things to pronounce. I tell myself as I cry. So they can finally stop being lost now anyway. I'm gonna keep moving. Dave can just go do whatever he's gonna do.
I'm
Anyway,
sorry.
so they can finally stop being lost, and it's Elora quickly heads back to gather the problem children, and when they reach town, Axis is obviously nervous and uncomfortable about going in with all these people with his flames that are possibly going to, go crazy. And Alora's like, "I got you, boo," and he's all like, "What? Say what?" And but yeah, they head into town where Alora is able to sell their pelts for more than she had expected, and she actually has enough like extra cash to get them a treat, which is nice. So
Mm.
Axis, so so Axis leaves Flora and Rune in a tree while he checks on Al because she's just finishing up doing her bartering, and that's when Al reveals that she has enough for the treat, and we learn that Axis's favorite treat is a dragon cake. Now, dragon cake is supposed to be a ball of cheesecake with a raspberry filling, and the outside is rolled in graham cracker crumbs. I have yet to make one, but boy, oh boy, do I want to eat one.
Yeah, I really want you to make one.
Yeah. Anywho, Axis is told to keep watch on, Flora and Rune, and Alora leaves to go get the snack. Unfortunately for her, she gets attacked by a mugger, and in her haste to kick him in the balls, she didn't realize they had a friend. But fortunately for her, Axis wanted to steal a second glance at her, and she was gone suspiciously quick, so he goes to check it out, and he hears her cry out in pain after getting hit. And let's just say, that one, the one that hit Al, is not going to feel all too well in a second here. Um, Alora is on the ground when Axis comes onto the scene, and he loses his shit. He sets one of her attackers on fire and starts to snap a bit, and Alora is like, "Oh fuck!" So she tries to calm him down, and Axis ends up burning her in the chaos of it all. And it's it's not even like it was unintentional. She got caught in the crossfire kind of burning. You should really read it to find out just the mental break that was occurring here. So as soon as she is about to break through to him, though, his mother's amulet melts. It breaks from the heat,
Ooh.
and Axis is shattered emotionally, and he ends up running away, like the attacker he didn't kill did. You know.
Mhm.
Alora can't find the strength to chase after him because she's feeling a bit traumatized again.
Mm.
And she has a breakdown too here for a moment. It's she gives herself a moment because not only does she have probably a mild concussion from the random attack, but she also has the blistering burns on her wrist from her friend who just ran, leaving her in alone and injured in an alleyway where he just killed someone. Anywho, Alora doesn't allow her spell to break for more than a moment before she bottles everything back up, and Rune shows up before Flora does. And Flora is, rather suspicious that that Axis might have betrayed them with the burn on her wrist. But all Laura tells her is, Axis saved me, but he's scared, which is true. But girl, you need medical attention. That's all there is to it.
Mhm.
Either way, Flora accepts it with a grain of salt, and the two start their search for Axis. And it takes the rest of the day before Laura decides that the last possible place he could be is where their last campsite was, and there he is, brooding against the tree because it is. So to wrap up the chapter,
All right.
Axis insults her, and she just is like, "We care about each other. Deal with it. Let's eat cake."
Mhm.
And
That's fair.
yeah. So that's chapter 19 and 20. They've been
All right.
they're both lots of fun. So we're gonna jump over to the promo screen here. Not that we've had any. It'd be really nice if someone would just stop by and say hello. But
Mhm.
I put in all this work. No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys. You'll watch later. You watch whenever. You'll watch When Souls Game. Speaking
Yeah,
of
I'm
When
surprised that
Souls
they
Game,
haven't. Uh okay. Yes. When Soul's Game. Let's hear it.
they will. Their next When Souls Game will be this Friday at 10
Ooh.
p.m. And are you joining? Do you work? I don't remember.
So, if all goes well, I should be there on time for it.
Okay, so it will be a co-op stream. We'll be doing Genshin Impact. And so as far as the co-op streams are planned for right now, is every other Friday. We'll be co-oping some game together. For now, it's Genshin Impact. And then the Tuesdays where I'm not doing Storytime Chit-Chat will be when I'm doing the solo stream of Oblivion. However, Dave will most likely be able to join us for at least an hour of the stream or so to,
Yes.
talk with us and whatnot. And on the Fridays where he has work on the Fridays that not this Friday but the every other Friday after that will be solo stream as well, probably to accommodate working schedules because let's face it, this isn't paying the bills.
Yeah.
Um, not yet.
I want to be
Hopefully
able
one
to
day it
afford
will.
the name brand spam.
I know. I know, dear. I know. So anyway, get more details on what happened in those chapters by reading When Souls Awaken for free on Tapas or subscribe to my Patreon. Patreon gets chapters a week ahead of the free platforms and it's in the original formatting because the other platforms don't allow for it. And so chapters 1 through 23 are currently available on Patreon, with chapter 24 to be released this Friday, February 19th, where chapters 1 through 22 are currently available for free on Tapas and Wattpad, and chapter 23 will be released free this Friday as well. Um, Not 23. Wait, yes, 23. Yeah, yeah, sorry. Confused myself. So you can subscribe to my Patreon for as low as $3 a month, and if you don't want to subscribe, then make any single donation at my coffee, and I will gift you a month's access to the original story that will be on par with the Patreon for updates. Next, so next we have Efuanian Tales for promotion.
Well, before we get to any of that.
I'm talking about promoting.
Oh, okay.
Um, so like me, HippieGhost here has his own coffee and Patreon to be supported because he has his own content. His story, The Fuanian Tales, is a collection of short stories, which is wonderful, light, um, lovely.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
a lot more lighthearted than you know, kids dying.
hey,
Um, well, no, that's fair. Yeah,
they're
we
not
we, we
invincible.
you
This
haven't
isn't
made it.
Skyrim.
Huh?
They're not invincible. This isn't Skyrim.
Yeah, well, you also haven't killed any kids that we know of.
Yes, yes, I have. Axis died. Well, I mean, I guess he's a teen,
Oh yeah, well, yeah, no, no, yeah, that's right. He did
and he
die,
killed
but he
everyone in
came
the
back.
village.
That's true. I guess there were kids in that village, huh? They aren't just like all adults, like they don't reproduce asexually or anything.
This is the first time and not the last time where a village is killed, including the children, if there are any children in those villages.
All right, so yeah, so then I'm just gonna go ahead and go with my original statement then that my story doesn't have any kids dying, at least none that I know of.
Does it have kids?
Uh, Not yet, but there's going to be a few.
Okay.
I actually I do have plans to introduce a few youngins to
All
the
right.
story. So, but yes, mine's a series of short stories, and so far, um, one of them is very wholesome.
Yeah, it is wonderful. So we have more stuff to promote for these stories, but we'll be doing that in a bit here because
Oh, look,
I
there's
just want to.
KGhast.
I'm going to wrap up the When Souls Awaken portion, so we're going to move on to the questions and answers that are submitted from by my Patreon supporters, and my founding supporters on my Discord, which I have now made available for anyone to join the Discord. Um, there's certain Patreon only areas on the Discord, but there's still a chat and a voice channel that everyone can participate in that wants to, and fan art and whatnot. So if you go to my Patreon, I'll be setting up the link for that tonight.
Awesome.
Anyways,
Uh,
let's get started on those questions.
all right. Well, first, welcome KGhast to the chat.
Oh, I can't
Uh,
see the chat. Why is it? Oh my god.
yeah, I
Sorry.
was.
I
I
had it too big. Hi. We're quiet.
yeah,
You're gonna have to turn your stuff up.
yeah, because we're at max volume on our end, at least as far as we know.
Yeah, there's really nothing else we can do.
Oh, that's weird.
All right.
We'll have to look into that. But
Yeah.
yeah. So next, we're on to our question and answers portion.
All right.
So are you ready?
Yeah, boy.
All right. So question one. Do any of the traders that Alora deals with ever question what a 12-year-old is doing on her own or traveling with only two other kids? Depending
No,
on if they see one or the other.
no, it's not their problem. But besides that, Alora is an excellent liar, and the only times that her lies ever really flop in the story is when she lies to a god. Besides that, Axis, he's like 16, and so they're like, ah, yes, I believe the girl that their older cousin is, or whatever, is escorting them to their, other family. So
That's fair.
she's a great liar, and no one really gives a shit. They're a little more concerned about the rumors of, mages going around and burning down people. They're like, these kids are harmless. Even
Yeah,
though Axis is literally the one that all the rumors about burning people down is the one.
yeah. It's not like a particular one of my characters who would immediately just go, wait a freaking minute.
Anyways,
We.
next question.
All right. So well, you kind of already answered this, but let's go ahead and ask it again real quick. So, what is Dragon Cake like exactly?
Okay, so Dragon Cake, I was hungry when I wrote that scene. I was like, what would I want to eat? But no, it's just a ball of cheesecake filled with raspberries and rolled in graham crackers. It's supposed to be simple. I wanted to make it simple enough that, I could actually recreate it if I ever find the oomph to do it. But because I want to eat it. So,
The one like I keep saying, like once COVID is over, we're going to have like a feast of like all the foods that we're craving.
yeah, we're just going to make all the food. Oh,
I'm gonna make my ham that you like. It's gonna be great.
all right, next question.
All right. Why does Flora hate swearing so much?
Okay. Because it's rude and she's a cinnamon bun that and besides that, she thinks swearing is kind of lazy way.
Fair enough.
Let's
All right.
go back to this
Oh,
question. There we
oh,
go.
I don't know why I missed that one.
Yeah,
I
you just went
I
right
even
over
submitted that
it. That
question
was a
too.
question you submitted and you just skipped it. Uh,
My yeah,
go
cause
on.
yeah, I'm in bimbo mode today. So how did Rune manage to get to Alora before Flora did?
By the power of love. Next question.
That was such a cop out. All right.
It was. It was, and I was not gonna skip it. You have to suffer my cop outs. You
I
ask
love it.
it.
All right. Why did Forest God choose now when she was ranting at Axe to bless her bow and not her directly? That was some punctuation right there. So
I
why
copied
did
and pasted it directly from the chat.
yeah, I see that. So why did Viserys choose when she after she was ranting at Axis to bless her bow and not her directly?
So Viserys chose now because her anger was a true show of colors. It showed that Alora does not only respect life, but she will not tolerate other people being disrespectful to it the way that, Axis was. He blesses the bow so that way he can keep watching, and if she decides to wield her bow in any way he disapproves, he can revoke it before she can even be granted the power. So it's kind of like, he's just making sure he can yoink it from her. Yeah, you do.
Yoink.
Yeah, you do, Gas. You do need to read these stories.
Yeah. the Lord the, the Lord eateth, the Lord yoinketh away.
So anyway, um, that concludes up for When Souls Awaken. But now we get to move on to the Fuenian tales. Welcome to
Yes.
HippieGhost time.
Hello.
Doo-doo-doo.
All right. I am very excited to talk about the Athenian Tales because a lot is going on right now. So first big thing is that I hit my one of my major milestones this past weekend. I had a great weekend. So, um, I on Friday, I think it was, yeah, Friday I had my highest total views in a single day, which I actually capped out at exactly 69 for Friday. So nice. But
Yeah, nice.
nice. But on top of that, I for the weekend I broke 500 views and I also broke 200 likes, which is pretty freaking amazing. Especially seeing as how I've only been at this for just a little over a month now. Well, a month and 2 weeks at this point. But you know, I also, as far as views and likes go, I broke in the last 2 weeks my entire previous month's worth. So really excited about that. Want to thank everybody that's been viewing and enjoying my content, leaving likes and comments. For those who have not seen the Afuenian Tales, it is a series of short stories about the kingdoms of Aefing, and it's told through the eyes of its citizens. What I really like about it as a format is that with all of these stories, you don't have to necessarily read through the whole thing or get invested in the entire story. You can just enjoy one of the short stories, come and go. It's a it's a much more laid back reading experience, I think. And
As opposed to mine, the one that
well,
will make you cry. It's made. It's. I feel so bad. I keep making the one Ruby cry.
yeah. I mean, granted, I did get a couple people say that Brooders made them cry, but it was good tears, so
Yeah,
I'm
I hurt
happy
my
about that.
people.
Yeah, you hurt people, I just make them so happy that they cry. So apparently, I mean, we're on two opposite ends of the spectrum there. But,
Austin's
people
still
will,
mad.
I mean, there's going to be a little bit of hurt in a couple of my stories later on down the line, especially once we start focusing on one particularly broody character who is not a brooder. Um,
He
that
gets
is
mad if
actually
you call him one.
he gets very pissed off if you call him one,
He
but
gets more broody,
he does, and
and you get a
he's
little
actually
more
going to be.
stabbied. Sorry.
You did you just say, and you get a little more stabbied?
Yeah.
That is correct. Yes, so we're referring to, of course, the Fel Ren, who is going to be making an appearance in a later story very soon. But just to kind of talk about the ones that I have,
Thank
definitely
you.
away with where it's hopeful. Oh, you
Thank you,
have no
Gas.
idea.
Oh, he does. He follows my Twitter.
Yeah, that's true.
I
I
like the
still
things you say with your mouth words. That's still my.
I'm still dying at that.
uh,
uh, but yes, so right now I currently have three short stories fully finished and out, and one that is releasing over the next couple of weeks. So um, the first one is Finding Work, which features Cherry and Takir as they try to make a name for themselves in the city of Dravensport. The city itself is pretty treacherous, though, and the guards are kind of uncaring at best and actively hostile towards them at worst. Same with a lot of like the captains of the ships and the bosses and stuff, because unfortunately, Cherry and Takir come from a land that is looked down on by the people of Dravensport. They deal with a lot of systemic racism, and it tends to not go too well. But they manage to keep their spirits up, and some pretty amazing things happen to try to help them get on their feet. Although once they meet a certain other character, things get very chaotic
oh yeah.
and a little bit explodey. So we have that to look forward to. The next story is about a shopkeeper by the name of Aaron. Um, they are just trying to get through the day. And unfortunately, every customer that they come across just wants to tell them their life story, and they don't really want to hear it. Um, they also just they're dealing with all sorts of crappy customers to begin with.
It's a very relatable story if you've ever worked in retail.
if you've ever worked in any sort of like
Yeah,
environment that where you deal with what I call the public,
customer
then
service.
yeah, any sort of public relations of any sort, customer service, retail, whatever, chances are you're going to relate to Aaron quite a bit because they deal with a lot of issues. Um, then the next story is my favorite of the three that are out right now, and that is Brooders. So in Afing, there's a group of people called Brooders that they like to hang out in the dark corners of taverns, trying to look menacing. They're not very good
Ooh.
at it.
No, they're not, but they are hilarious, and God, they
Oh
have
god, they are.
evolved so much from the times I started doing my collabs with you at the
Oh
start.
god,
Holy
yeah.
moly. They used to just be, I don't know, they got more comical and less creepy.
Yeah, well, that was
Before
the
they were
idea.
like almost creepy stalker vibes, but now they're like wannabe vibes, and I love it.
Right, and that's really the whole thing is that it was really intended to be more of the comical try hard vibe as opposed to the creepy
Hmm.
stalker vibe. I mean, they still would definitely some of them definitely have that creepy stalker vibe,
Oh,
don't get
I
me
forgot
wrong.
to change from the promo screen. I'm sorry.
It's
Didn't mean
okay.
to interrupt you. There we go.
Ta-da!
Ha!
There we go. I can see clearly now. There's nothing blocking
Now I
my
can
face.
relate. Now I can react to what you say.
Ah! Yes. So, um Amanda. Uh,
I'm sorry. Go on.
So yeah, so that would be Brooders, and it's also that is the story that has a very wholesome ending because one particular character ends up really discovering themselves, and
There's a
it's
great ship in it.
there is a very good ship in it. A lot of people were very pleased, and that is the story that made people cry happy tears. So if you're gonna read only one of my stories, please read that one. You will
Hmm.
not be disappointed. And then currently I have one story that is kind of out, but it's releasing over the next few weeks, so the first part is up. And that is the incredible documentaries of Lady Farista. She is a young researcher who wants to explore the creatures of Afing and do research on them in the field as opposed to being stuck in her stuffy old room. But her parents want to make sure that she's safe. At first, they were completely against her going, but they decided that,
Yes,
hey,
it
it's the High
is.
Avatar. Oh my god. But
There's two of them now.
uh, uh, all right. Anyway, so in the Thrilling Adventures of Lady Farista, Farista wants to explore the creatures of Athing, but her parents do not want anything to do with it. They want to be supportive, but they want her to be safe more than anything. Uh, yes, she does. Deal with it. Anyway, so they hire this mercenary called the Scarlet Blade.
Sorry, I was like out of my motion range there for a
See that?
while.
Uh, there you go, 30-year smoker, yeah. Anyway, they uh so they hire her a mercenary as a kind of compromise. So they hire the Scarlet Blade, thinking that this manly man's going to be able to protect her, and that the mom is also hoping that hey maybe if she finds a man she'll settle down. Well, Scarlet is a lady, and
Woo
what a
woo.
lady she is! She is a very muscly, armored up lady, and unfortunately for her parents, Farista is into it.
Oh my
He is
god.
all about this. And so the parents are like, "Oh, well, this is this is all a big misunderstanding. You can get going." And she just goes, "No, no, no, please step on me. I mean, walk with me, travel with me. Yes." So, that happens. But that
She's thirsty.
she is a very thirsty little researcher. And but throughout the story, first is going to find out very quickly just how much of a bubble she lives in, and her interactions with Scarlet are going to get they start to get a little more wholesome, and the two get to kind of form this bond between each other that personally I'm very proud of. In fact, it's setting up to look very good for their future stories. I love how you're just nodding.
Well, I have to do something since my whole music shit like went to.
Yeah,
I'm trying to entertain people.
I appreciate you
I
so
I
much.
would do the Ah! But that's still my favorite face that this avatar does. Just do this for the. Oh,
Uh,
wait, this is the sad face.
Juggle.
I can't juggle.
Oh,
I can look surprised. There you go. I hope you enjoy that.
I do. I'm gonna give a judgmental look. I'm just gonna go.
Okay,
All right.
so you were saying about like
Anyway,
first.
so but yeah, so that story is up, and it's going to release over 3 parts. The first part is already out. The next two release over the next 2 weekends. So I'm very excited about that. Like I was saying before, though, if you have to pick only one story to read, definitely read Rooters out of all of them. They are absolute. It is just an absolutely fantastic story, very funny, very lighthearted, and it's honestly probably the best example of my writing when it's at its best. Um, it also has Cecilia in it, who my VTuber avatar is based off of.
That
So
is right. And she is
mhm.
just such a sweetheart. She's a wonderful character. And
She is
she has
lovely.
gone under a lot of changes too
Haven't
since
we
the
all?
first time. I love her the first edition of her versus now.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Like
pretty
it was
funny.
so far.
She's evolved, and that's one thing I really like
Mhm.
about how we did those collabs is that my characters evolved with them.
Yeah, they
You
had a
know, they're
chance. You had the ability to test out different pathways to take with those personalities.
yeah, and I really appreciate that about our collabs.
I think it'd be really
Maybe
hilarious to do a collab where it has, like the old versions and the new versions meeting each other.
that would be pretty funny, actually. I would have so much fun with that. There'd be a million Farons.
Yeah.
Bring all of their
Okay.
ships in too. But anyway, so we're back to Verista's stuff real quick and the Athenian tales in general. If you feel like you've looked at Verista's story and you just cannot wait to see the ending of it, then you can check out my Patreon because that is where it is posted up in its entirety right now. It also has a little bit of bonus content on it, as well as all of my other works as they were originally meant to be read. The other nice thing about my Patreon is that all of my patrons get a free Oracle dice reading based on their tier. So every tier, no matter which tier you get, gets a general Oracle dice reading. But the higher up the tier you get, the more specific it gets. And if you get one of the higher tiers, I think it's a 20 and 25 tiers, you get a Oracle dice reading based specific, like from the perspective of one of my characters, and it's a character of your choice. So if you want, you know, say Brune or like Cecilia or Arya. Oh yeah, let's go with Arya. If you want Arya to be like, hey, yeah, the dice say that your love life is gonna really suck, you know,
Yeah. It'll be the
then
difference between your love life going to fucking suck. You might
yeah,
want to start drinking, or you know.
yeah, but no, the the Oracle dice generally do they have a tendency to tell you what you need to hear instead of what you want to hear, but it's actually usually a fairly positive message. It's less of a hey, but this bad thing is going to happen, and more of these are the challenges you're going to face, and this is what you're going to need to do in order to overcome them, which really helps out a lot, I think, and it gives a very nice perspective. But yeah, so if you're at a higher tier, then you get to hear that from the perspective of one of my characters. Otherwise, any tier just gives you those Oracle dice readings, and all of the tiers give you access to all of my released content ahead of time before anybody else gets to see them, which is really fantastic.
Mhm.
And in addition to that, Amanda also, I have the same thing for her Patreon. If anybody subscribes to her Patreon, then they also get an Oracle dice reading, and it's based on that. The only difference is that with higher tiers, I wouldn't be able to do it through one of my characters because you don't really know any of mine. I might work with Amanda if she's up to it
Um.
to
Well,
have,
for in regards to mine, it'll be the basic tier because I have other things for my higher tier Patreons.
yeah.
Like
So
the
it would just
commentary
be
edition of When Souls Awaken, where you get to read all my fun little comments on that go anywhere from boy that was a bad idea to this is why this person is so mentally fucked up.
hmm Yeah, and then occasionally there's just the whole like press F to pay respects thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it would just be a basic reading for Amanda's. But same thing, just it's kind of just a little thing I do to show support for her. And let's see. Oh, yes, one more thing. This is my last little promotion thing. So this is as a special treat for the for my active subscribers on Tapas. I'm doing a thing for my next milestone. When I hit 1,000 views on Tapas, then I am going to do a free Oracle reading for one of my active subscribers chosen at random. That would be people that actually like and comment and share stuff. And if I do it before the end of February, if I reach 1,000 before the end of February, then I'll choose 3 subscribers, and the readings will be in character if I also get 500 likes in that time. And I'm extending that same little goal and everything to Amanda's story as well. So if she gets 1,000 views before the end of the month, same thing.
I am currently at 400 and something.
Yeah, I think I'm at like five something or other. So, I'm not too far off. Um,
I'm at 447 views and 198 likes, so good luck on hitting those.
hey, if there's a will, there's a way. Maybe KGhast here will just like
He just
go through
makes
everything.
5 accounts.
Yeah. Uh,
Just kidding. Please don't do that.
no. Oh, but I should say though, I keep saying subs, but really, I mean, since we're like, because of the area that we live in, I really should be calling them hoagies.
uh, oh.
Uh, all right.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a bad joke. All
That
right.
was funny.
So, um, I see I have some questions from people for the Euphonian
Yep.
Tale, so let's hear them.
Alright. Number one. Do you have a sequel planned for Brooders?
So I don't have one planned, but I have some ideas for one that I would really love to explore. So it's probable that we'll see a sequel coming up eventually, in which case, both Garson and Black Rose 11 will be making an appearance in it. I
That'd be
don't know if they'll
lovely.
be the main characters, but they will certainly be part of it.
Alright. So who has been your favorite character to write so far?
It's honestly a really hard thing to determine, but recently I would say I had the most fun writing Garson, just because he is such a puppy, and he's got that kind of like I'm a little confused, but I've got the spirit vibe
He's got
in
a
a lot
lot
of
of
him.
that.
He's got a lot of that vibe, but he ends up being such a good supportive person for Black Rose 11, and such a good just person in general, and he's just really fun to write. Otherwise, I would probably say Arya is the next best one as far as entertaining myself while writing, just because her lines are really fun and she is just a bundle of chaos, and she is just fantastic because of it. She is a witch that has burns covering half of her body. She is a pirate. She is cocky, and she loves to cause explosions, and it is just brilliant. I love
She
it.
is so much fun.
She is one of my
I
favorite
can't wait to
characters.
see
I
more
could
of her.
Oh, and you will. One of my coming up stories actually is going to have another appearance from her, and is going to focus on the crew of Crimson Tempest. It is currently in progress.
That's super exciting. Um,
Hmm.
so then in regards to the shopkeeper tale, how fucked
Hmm.
is the guy that they left the note for?
His life is definitely going to get complicated, but it's already pretty bad. So, I mean, you know, we're actually going to see exactly what goes down with him. He is going to be making an appearance soon. So, that's another thing that we have to look forward to.
Oh my god.
What?
No, you just said there was going to be an appearance,
Oh,
so I
yes.
did the surprise face.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I had to look away
Not very
so I could
well,
look at
but
the thing. I'm so proud of
anyways.
you.
Um going on again with the shopkeeper. In there you had the lady that was being accused of being a witch. Are we going to see her again?
There are definitely going to be at the very least mentions of her. She might actually make a full-on appearance, depending on how I want to approach one of the character stories in particular. But she plays a much more major role than I was letting on with her
Mhm.
appearance. So you're going to definitely see more about her.
Okay. So that's all I got for questions for you there, Hippie.
All right. Well, that works. Um, so how about this? Since we have a few minutes, KGhast, if since you're in the chat and everything, if you have any questions for either of us, now would be a really good time to bring them up.
Well, so one thing I would like to say, because I know he hasn't gotten around to reading stuff yet, but KGhast is a big supporter, very he's very kind. He makes sure to come to our streams, and he's super supportive. So it'd be really nice if you guys can check out his work, which is a comic with amazing art. The oh my god, what is it? The some something adventures. Why am I blanking on the fucking part? Oh my god. But yes, he'll put it in the chat because I'm gonna tell him to put it in the chat. But it'd be good to check out his comic because I mean, really, the art style is amazing, the humor is great, and he puts a lot of work into it.
Awesome.
Of Osker, yes, the Calamitous Misadventures of Osker. Thank you. I am sorry. I don't know why, but I completely forgot what the word calamitous was. Like,
Calamitous.
anyways, thank you again, KGhast, for coming to our stream and participating in the chat. We really appreciate it. I'm gonna switch it over to our little credits. Haha.
Uh,
But yeah,
oh my
so
God, I was so self-conscious about my body image.
so be sure to check out When Souls Awaken, which is my main ongoing series right now. If you want to read something that is completed, check out Never in Silence. It's a novella, and um, so that means it's somewhere between the length of a short story and a novel. It's not long enough to be a novel, not short, too long to be a short story. And then When Souls Promote is my little promo comic that I made to promote my When Souls Awaken. It also will. I'm trying to have more fun stuff in it, but we'll see because that one gets randomly updated when I just manage to somehow have time to make little comics for it. And I struggle with drawing, so but I try because it's fun, it entertains me, and it makes it. I'm getting a lot better at drawing my memes. At least not taking hours, as many
Your art
hours to
has
write my
taken
memes.
such like it has gone so high up in like in its improvement and everything. It's just been fantastic. Like
I mean,
going from when you first started to like now, it's like
it'd been years since like
there's.
I drew anything before I started drawing again for When
Hmm.
Souls Awaken.
I still, that's one thing I want to really say about your artwork though. Like I really appreciate your art in general because if not for like your initial like the I feel like if it weren't for the fact that you shared with me that artwork like years ago of just some of your characters that you
Mhm.
had for a story in your head,
Yeah.
we would not be where we're at with this because I just remember being so excited about this and wanting to know all about these characters. And
Mhm.
then you wrote the story. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh my
I
God, this is
actually
great.
wrote it because of a tragic backstory. But in short, my friend was dying of cancer. She did not survive, and I needed something to, distract myself with. But anyways, oh, thank you, KGhast. I I
Mm-hmm.
I put in as much off effort as I can afford to. Once again,
Mm-hmm.
special thanks to my Patreon supporters, which include Dave, my mom, and one of my old time Xbox buddies, Alex. Yeah, and I really appreciate my people that keep coming to watch the stream when they can. It, I guess Z couldn't make it tonight, but that's okay. And Austin's working. He's always working.
Rip.
Otherwise, he'd be here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and a special thanks again to KGhast for coming. Be sure to check out When Souls Awaken and the Euphonian Tales because a lot of this would not be nearly as far as it is, and I probably never would have published it if it wasn't for HippieGhost here. Because, I mean, and if I did manage to publish without him, trust me, my work would be so horrendous compared to what it is right now.
Thank you.
So horrendous. You'd have no idea
Mm.
how many times that he's just been like, aw. You gotta put a space. I do have an emo counter. Yeah. See, there you
There
go.
we go.
It throws it up. I love it. Isn't it great? I love that it throws the emotes on there. Uh,
Now I gotta spam hearts because I want to
yeah.
see the emotes on
My
there.
my favorite thing is that when someone subscribes or follows or whatever, it does like the tentacle burst. And I don't have anyone to, but the
Yeah,
it's all these ones. They
yeah,
all pop up and go all over the place.
I love it.
Uh,
But yeah, no, your yeah, because your stories have evolved a lot too, and I think I appreciate the credit for all the feedback I gave and everything, but the
mhm.
talent was always there, so it was always just a matter of improvement and refining your skills.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So once again, uh, all my links are on my link tree on it should be attached to my Twitch, so just go to my channel and you can find everything there. Thank you, KGhast. Thank you
Thank you,
so much for
KGhast.
coming and watching. Thank you, everyone else who stopped by. And this will be uploaded to YouTube without the music, which, shit, I still need to do that for the last episode. Haha!
Rip.
I'm pretending to have my shit together, but I don't. Alright, I'm gonna hang up now so I can do that stuff before I forget again. Toodles!